once they didn't really have a chance to respond and they just kind of got caught, and it's just really tough. But I reckon they can come back. But also another team that we would like to see come back would be Carnage, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, we kind of hope for their sake they're not going to come in last spot once again, because if you have too many of those last spot performances, you're just not giving yourself a chance at all. You feel like
it's over before it's begun, right?
Yeah, kind of, probably. I think if they were to have a last spot again here, they'd be
1,200 points.
They wouldn't be out of it completely, but their morale would probably just
drop. Or at least
drop.
The morale would drop, and then you have to really come back, pick yourself up for day number 2, day number 3. It can be quite difficult.
Well, speaking of dropping, the players have decided to finally get dropping out of the plane, as we've got our plane path right over Stelbert. It's going to be making its way all the way down to Sosnovka Island, next to the military base.
Straight through the middle right there, so teams should really have their pick now of where they'd like to go. We're starting to see a lot of teams really stick to their tried and tested from what we've seen in terms of online competitions or lands. So for instance, we know that Athletico really like to favour the Milta. We've also seen Greyhound Gaming always go towards Georgia Pole, and also Pathogen go to that Yasnaya. So it's little trends like this that we start to see coming out time and time again.
What we don't see too often, though, is the Chiefs go to Kameshki or
Literally
Stelbert.
Was about to say that.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a different one already to kickstart that. Of course, Tainted Minds, they'll be heading over to Milta. And Atletico looking like they dropped a bit early to find a vehicle. They'll head over to Milta Power, of course. Vanguard, they like the mansion, shelter. We call it Bunnings. They sometimes go to Bunnings. Sometimes also Lipovka and, of course, Prison as well for their sake. And all the way right down... Oh, that circle. We'll get to that.
Similar to the last game,
yeah,
wasn't
I mean, that's not great for a lot of the players, though. It's great viewing, I must say. I love seeing the players struggle with circles like this. Down in the military base, though, it is going to be Exile. Of course, our chicken dinner winners. Ground 0 will be heading over to Novo.
That's exactly right. So nothing too different in terms of the teams that drop down in the southern part of the map, but also something interesting. Yeah, Chiefs, last time they dropped around in that Gatka area, so I'm wondering if this is going to be the tactic kind of unfolding for them in this LAN, where they're just kind of picking the locations of spots that they're not really going to encounter any teams. Like, let's be honest, who drops Gatka? Who drops to Kameshki?
No one.
No one.
But for their sake, it's like they read the circle prediction here, because for them, they're going to just have a clean path coming in south.
It will work out.
Instead of having to say, if they were coming from Gatka, they'd have a lot more teams that they'd have to push through to get into that circle. Team immunity around the school, surrounding Roshok compounds on the outskirts. They've also got Nutshot down in the garages. Avant over in Pachinki. They're not too far away from the circle. And interestingly enough, TABOO Esports Club, they're actually close to where Chiefs usually like to go, which is the Gatka Fields.
That's it. And this time I'm just seeing Kingdom Gaming as well. They've gone to North Georgie this time around. Interesting to see, though. Woods, he'll be making sure that he can scout/pick up a location away from the team, so he can be the rank tank, if you will. So you will often notice, if you don't see 4 members together, it's almost like that contingency plan.
Now, one thing I want to point out, could very well be a dangerous circle for Vanguard. They like to split up all 4 of their members around mansion, etc., mansion, prison, etc., shelter, all of those sort of areas. And with so many teams that are going to be sending scouts in, there's more likelihood that someone may run into one of the members of Vanguard. And if Vanguard aren't prepared for that, they could then start to lose a couple of members one by one, and never going to have that numerical advantage while they're all spread out. So don't be too surprised if we do see possibly Vanguard might get in the action early on if scouts pretty much come to their locations.
I am also looking at Intergalactic Lads. They're having the pick in terms of looting up from Lepopka, and they are the closest team to Vanguard currently.
Of course, over here in Yasnaya, we've got Pathogen, Bandit, Esports, a bit of east versus west battles between them. Yep, they it's kind of fighting for the city of Yasnaya. They actually have a crate dropping near them as well, favouring Pathogen's side. Order, Waikakamukau already on the move next to Kaziris, and they, of course, they're quite close to the circle. The teams not close to this circle, though, Kingdom Gaming in North George, and over at Crates in South George, it is Greyhound Gaming, who definitely need to bounce back from their Game 1 performance. They were in 17th position on the standings coming into Game number 2 here. And if they don't have a decent performance, they're going to be starting to fall behind that pack.
It's interesting you say that, though. Greyhound Gaming's not one that I get concerned about if they do fall down on the leaderboards a little bit. I mean, we saw them at last LAN also struggle. They were a slow starter, if you will, and that's been kind of typical for them in Atlanta. I'm not really sure why. I know that they're keen to get going. It's not by choice, but they're able to bounce back. I think it just makes them more hungry for the win, and they really are able to learn from their game. So I'm not too fussed at this stage. I'm expecting them to bounce back at full strength.
Raging Knights down near Primorsk, quite close to ARCANE as well, who are in Ferry Pier. They'll, of course, be grabbing a boat and they'll eventually rotate through the water and up around. I wouldn't be too surprised if they come north of the Miltopower Cliffs, beachside near Lipovka region. Of course, it's going to be dangerous regardless where they decide to beach their boat and come into the circle regardless, but that's what they'll most likely do. Exile already looks like they're on the move from military base, and what we've been seeing so far is a lot of teams rotating very early on. They don't want to be sitting around, and of course, generally in the Australian region, the meta is quite simple. Get it, loot, push in as soon as possible to the center of the circle, and we've got our first kill. It's Waikika who was pushing in very quickly. He gets taken down. That's a big loss for Order Army.
That is a huge loss for Order Army right there, and so early in. So it just takes that one rotation to go a little bit astray, and that was the opportunity right there seized. One thing as well, you can see the teams that are closer to the circle, they're also happy to take a little bit more time to loot up quite properly, whereas you're on the outskirts, really it's all about as soon as you got that loot, just start heading in straight away. And
I think Pathogen were able to pick up that crate, by the way, so I wonder what they've got from the goodie crates, and who knows, could be an AWM that can turn the tide, and AVANT, they're the last team near TABOO Esports Club. I mean, they've gone past them. ARCANE's just gone past south of AVANT, and now Exile's coming in. So AVANT happy to just stay in Pachinki a little while longer, come in a bit late. And the teams that do tend to come in late, I wouldn't be surprised if, say, Greyhound or Kingdom Gaming possibly then hold the circle edge instead of pushing to the center, knowing that there's so many teams in there. You can see the shots now starting to come out on the minimap where they're sort of just taking long-range shots at each other as everyone sort of rotates past.
And you can already see as well on your screen, there's a couple of vehicles. It's almost like Mad Max out here. Carnage rotating in, but then you also got Immunity and Chiefs. AVANT Gaming, they're all out here trying to rotate. But look at this now. Mini Uzi takes out P for Potato. He's knocked.
That's going to be on cry for Team Immunity. So Potato down for the Chiefs. Cassius knocks himself down. That's not great news for Order, obviously. They've already lost Waikika, so they don't want to lose another member. And what is becoming a very clustered area of players pushing into the zone. Need to get him back up as soon as possible. Pathogen, of course, they got company. They're in the banana houses at the moment. And going past Edge, the motorbike, generally a safe option. It's so fast and it's a small target. It's a lot harder to spray down. But then the downside of that can be easy flips. That Pathogen were able to get from the crate, so we'll see if that's going to be able to make an impact as Intergalactic lads also had a drive-by visitor.
Intergalactic lads, they're making sure that they can hold this compound now. It gives them a good vantage point as well by holding onto this hill. You can get a good, really, a point of view in terms of who's trying to go around you. Well, they've got the Chiefs just down below them. They're noisy neighbours, if you will, down at the bottom of the hill. Daxon, though, with a bit of a spray onto radar from TABOO Esports Club. He's going to have to give up on that, though. You don't want to be wasting your ammo too much on what I consider a bit of a long-range spray there onto a vehicle where there's going to be so many vehicles driving past regardless. You can't spray them all down. You'll run out of ammo. The Mini with the 8X as well, very decent option. I'm seeing a lot of players liking that Mini at the moment. It's funny because for quite some time, players did not like the Mini at all. So it's really interesting that it's really come back into the swing of things. A couple of shots running down now, and Cassius again knocked himself dead. Yeah, so that's 2 down now for Order. I'm assuming he just never got picked back up. Yeah, just bled out. Not the best start here for Order. Considering they finished, I believe it was around 12th on the standings or so after game 1, and definitely not going to be climbing up unless they can get a bit of a rank tank coming out from their 2 remaining members. We've got Carnage Esports here, head low, just head face into a wall, and a couple of sprays behind him just in case someone was watching him from behind. You know when you look in the mirror in a horror movie and you know someone's looking... You scare yourself with your own reflection? He must have scared himself. Trigger finger. Rum Rage just going past Critical and Champs from the Chiefs, looking to meet up with the rest of his team in Lipovka. Long-range players coming in, by the way. Raging Knights have got their boat convoy coming in from Primorsk. Kingdom Gaming and Greyhound have made their way up just the north side of the circle. Extreme from Greyhound is just above north side of Yasnaya and is actually quite close to Order's Ronin. So Ronin needs to be careful. There's not many members left of Order right now, and
Can't afford to lose him. Still in Novo, by the way, our chicken dinner winners. Ground 0, not electing to move just yet, but they have got a couple of boats. They'll be ready to move shortly.
If we turn our attention to Lipovka now, you can see it's Intergalactic Lads versus the TABOO. Neither really wanting to give up ground in Lipovka at the moment, so just taking their time and not rushing.
Well, there's no real reason to fight right now. The circles, it's still the first circle. So for these teams, they're happy to just sit in these buildings. Yep. They're not quite sure of the situation, how many members of Intergalactic Lads there are. Obviously, we know that TABOO have got the numerical advantage here.
We get the God view, and that's exactly right. But as you said, they can sit pretty because they are within the circle. So no real time or no real issue or need to move currently until they see an opportunity or an opening.
Yep. Obviously, they wouldn't have the full information. They might not even know if Intergalactic Lads are there. They might have spotted someone through a window, but it's never that easy or that simple. You can see there goes Ground 0, making the long boat trip over to the circle. Obviously, they've got quite a bit of landing options if they want to, maybe just south of Mill to Power, the beach line there. Or north of Mill to Power, near Lipovka, would be very dangerous.
Look at this cluster right here in the center. It's like all the teams this time, no one wants to play outskirt. I mean, really, we've got pretty much EXILE on the outskirt, Ground 0, and then everyone else just slap bang in the middle currently.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You know, that is the meta, at least here in the Australian region. Considering that the circle can't finish on water, of course, it means that where everyone is pretty much sitting right now, at the very least, is the most likely area that this circle is going to eventually finish on, unless we get a very early hard shift over to the west side of this current circle. And for the players, this is about mitigating RNG. They have to know and understand how these circles move around, give themselves the best position to get the best possible outcome from what could be the next circle, and sort of hedge your bets a little bit.
Speaking of next circle, the next one will be spawning now, and right, there you go, Xenox. Slap bang in the middle. All teams are pretty much currently centered. We have a couple of outliers, but they're not too far away. It's not going to be a massive shift that they need to contend with. And that does pretty good. If you're already holding a spot that you're comfortable with, it's looking pretty good. I mean, you can already see the numbers speak for themselves. We still have 77 alive.
And watch a couple of the players. They'll start to move more south here a little bit as well, because there's a lot more water to that sort of northeast section right near Lipovka, so it means it's more likely to start shifting southwest rather than holding up north. So you're going to see, you can see the Chiefs moving now. You've got Critical and Champs on the way, as we got some shots from ATHLETICO here. They have spotted the Chiefs going by. Just a couple of spray shots onto Critical. And again, the motorbike, it's pretty hard to spray down. It's actually usually the UIs that's actually the easiest to spray it and knock someone out.
You can see those players are still happy to have a crack at it and try. And with that, you can see Chiefs, they've all together now in that Wizard Tower. ATHLETICO Heifer, he knows exactly where they are and will be relaying that to his squad.
Right now, ATHLETICO in a pretty decent position in terms of their compounds, whereas Chiefs moving into that Wizard Tower that early on, I'm not sure if I agree too much with it. It's a bit of a late game compound position to hold when there's really not much else in sort of the last couple of circles, and you've only got a couple of Wizzy Towers left, and they're going in there quite early, which may suggest they would elect to play a bit more passively this game and just go for placing.
That's it. And I think they really ended up there through desperation as well. Everyone else was taken. You could hear the shots ringing out. Greyhound now doing another rotation. But this one's fairly safe. Currently, we only see Intergalactic Lads. And this is still out in Lipovka.
There was a knockdown from Wigan onto Somatic from AVANT. So that's why you have getting involved in the action there. AVANT don't want to be losing Somatic. Not sure if he'll be able to get revived at the moment. Tainted Mines, by the way, they're in Pride Rock, just on the south of Prison, up on Pride Rock, so they're in a pretty decent position in terms of the ability for them to sort of stay hidden and not have teams push in from behind them, because you essentially can't climb up from the bottom of Prison all the way up to Pride Rock. So they're able to sort of control their area a little bit better than some teams. As Kingdom Gaming, quite close to TABOO Esports Club. Rumrage might like to take a couple of shots, but he hasn't got everyone just right near him. If he does get knocked down, it's going to force everyone to start running over to try and pick him back up, and then that could mean Kingdom Gaming could push on to TABOO Esports Club here.
And we've also got Order on the other side of them as well. So if they start to take that fight, Order might investigate, come and join the fight and see what's happening. Shots now ring out. So that would have alerted Order to their location. And need to just be careful now, TABOO.
Well, when you say Order, it's basically just Ronan and Electric, the last two, of course.
Because they lost two members so early in.
So for their sake, they probably, even if they do hear shots, which they will because there's so many teams in this current circle, they're not going to be looking to run as fast as they can to join in on those fights. They're going to just look to hope and see everyone else killing each other.
That's the best case scenario right there. In terms of speaking of best case scenario as well, I think as well with Tainted Minds and also Vanguard holding that, they're hoping for a repeat of that last circle where it really just favoured towards Prison and as well as a Lumberyard. Just got to wait and see where this next circle is going to shift because still, we've yet to see another player drop for quite a couple of minutes now, Xenox.
Yeah, again, it's slow. We expect it to be slow. That's just the way that the nature of these high-pressure events are. We're going to be seeing players play super, super safe. There are quite a few of the players in here who are great fraggers. They're happy to play very risky with their rotations, but you just don't want to risk it here. Not this early on. Maybe you get to day 2, maybe you get to day 3, and you need those extra kill points, then you might go for it. But right now, it's only game 2. Placing is a lot of points, more points than you're going to get from kills. That's what these players and teams are going to want. We do get that next circle, by the way, and it's a dead ringer on top of Mill to Power. So for Athletico, they haven't had to go very far right now.
Defs from Carnage, he did spot Taboo down there and took a couple of shots, but now they're getting shots received. So sometimes you really just need to weigh up, are we going to make some noise? Can we get a kill? Can we get anything out of getting that knock?
Adelaide just going to block the US and push back onto it. No? Yes? Yes?
Use it for cover.
There we go. He'll eventually use this for cover if need be. As you can see, actually on the map, the convoy of teams started to make their way in from the north. You've got Immunity, you've got Greyhound, Vanguard going past, you've got KANGA Esports, the list goes on. Everyone's in a vehicle and everyone's making their way to that next circle to get to the center positions, but there's not really great compounds left. We're going to have multiple teams inside the likes of the whole Mill to Power region area. It's not generally what we see too often. As the teams start to move down, there's lots of shots from the teams that have already got committed locations. And, well, Blind Freddy has found himself Pathogen. He's not that blind after all.
Yeah, he's actually doing a lot of work right there. And from Pathogen, that's just got to spell disaster, losing so much of your squad right there.
I think that just might... I definitely still see Resolves on the map driving way down near Prison. Somatic for Avant. Looks like he's rotating a bit earlier than the rest of his team, which are actually quite close by to Tainted Minds as Blackout finds a knockdown onto Twerkerfish from Kingdom Gaming. So the kills will start to happen now. It's generally the way it goes the first 15 minutes or so. We don't see too much, and then it all happens so fast at once we don't even get it all.
Pretty
much.
We'll
get to see it all.
Well, that's exactly what's going to happen. With 74 still alive, there's no way we'll be able to cover it when it does happen, but we're going to try our best, Xenox. And in the meantime as well, all these teams, they're really starting to bump elbows now. Yes, they were all centralized before, but now you can see with Greyhound trying to rotate in a little bit slower, it just becomes a bit harder for them.
SYF, Zidons was able to pick up a kill onto Double J. Exile were pushing past them and unfortunately went too close to this group. There was a kill from Rum Rage, or at least a knockdown onto Nutshot and then the kill. And now another knockdown onto Biggie J as well. So a double knockdown and a double kill coming out from Rum Rage, considering if he'll be able to confirm this kill onto Biggie J, which with a bit of help from Cyclops, they're able to confirm that. Tainted Minds and Avant, by the way, are clashing right now. Galway with a knockdown onto Kassoon. There was already a knockdown earlier on, I think, onto Nick 101. He might have been able to get back up, but the shots continue to ring out. Cozzy returning fire, takes down Galway and Joshi, and Somatic was able to also find a knockdown onto Ground Zero's Kebab. What is Kebab doing in that as well?
He just wants to join the fight. And pretty much we've got Subslayer here. He's got his UMP out. He knows the pressure is there.
Well, it looks like Galway and Subby confirmed the kill onto Cozzy and Kassoon. Somatic dying as well. That means Avant Gaming out in last place in Game 2. You said that they were going to bounce back. They bounced.
Caster's curse. I'm going to stop talking. They're probably just going to hate me after this. I'm sorry, guys. I'll just leave you to it. But Tainted Minds come out on top of this fight and managing to keep 3 members. Galway, the circle might knock him out, but he can easily then be revived. The rest of his squad mates on hand.
Looks like he's going to make it.
For it.
I think he's made it.
Just by the tip of his... Yeah, there you go.
Yep, makes it back in.
Beautiful. So now he can heal up, and then the next opponent that they really need to worry about would be Intergalactic Lads as well as Carnage when they do need to push into the next circle. You can already see Xenox. All these teams, as they're trying to rotate in, if you are doing that late rotation and you're coming up against, like, Athletico, they've been holding that compound for ages in the banana houses, and they've been making it work for them. Same with Taboo, holding the cliffs.
19 teams, 62 alive so far. AVANT, the only team that has lost all 4 members. Neferhor with some long-range shots onto KARNAGE Esports. Yasukage with the confirmed kill onto SYF's Zidon. Of course, Athletico still note that Chiefs are hiding out in the Wizard Tower. But even if you are able to get that knockdown, it's so hard to actually confirm the kill because they just get the immediate revive from that sort of distance. Neferhor does take a shot back. It's a bit of a warning shot to stop pestering the Chiefs, as Shavsky has finally died to the blue zone. So currently everyone is in at least the current circle, the new circle, which is again just more centrally right over Milta Power. We have no more water, by the way, in this next circle, so that's pretty much out of the equation, as Stacky somehow blew himself up with his own frag grenade.
Never a good situation to be in. TABOO, they've sent 2 members to rotate into the next circle while the other 2 are just covering. And that's smart right there by doing that rotation. Swap over to Neferhor. And he can hear the bike going out. He wants that kill. They're holding the banana houses quite well.
Intergalactic Lads and Tainted Minds finally come together. As Neferhor with a shot onto Cyclops. Not going to make it. Here's Subslayer. Oh, unfortunately he's out in the open. And End Me is going to end Subby. As we go over to Order as well, we've spotted Kingdom Gaming. Electric was able to get a knockdown onto Twerkerfish, and me with a frag grenade takes out Tedesco as well. So Gorway, Subslayer, Tedesco all out. Tainted Minds, I believe, are out in 18th position. So unfortunately, right now, Tainted Minds are struggling here. Ronin and Electric at least still holding on for now, but they are taking some shots back onto them. They've only got the 2 members, of course, for Order here, so they can't be too aggressive.
Vanguard, he's spotted. We've got the Raging Knights, and they have no idea where he is. It's just a shooting gallery right now.
Daxon able to not only get that knockdown, but confirm the kill onto Rido from the Raging Knights. He does know that Guru was close by. Saw his head pop up, but unable to obviously shoot him while he's prone behind cover. And very close by here is SYF next to Vanguard, as Sunny is able to confirm the kill onto Max and me, and Intergalactic Lads out of here in 17th position.
Yep, that's it. It took Tainted Minds with them as well, so they were unable to successfully push in. Oh, you could see that rotation coming out, wondering how that one's going to play out. But Neferhor, look at these shots he's taking on a Ronin now, confirming the kill. That's Order out as well.
Yeah, Order out in 16th place. Heifer and Nefer able to confirm those 2 kills. Wigan had a bit of an accident, I think, when he was trying to chase after Vanguard. That could backfire for SYF. And Gadget's able to kill off Kingdom Gaming. So Wigan must have just fell down a cliff.
Maybe slipped.
Yep,
slipped and fallen.
Slipped on a rock and just fell down.
He's left Cryptic to it. Cryptic just using the last of that smoke to keep himself hidden. And Vanguard, they managed to rotate on. So Sif, he'll pretty much be the needle in the haystack now.
So the blue zone just about to reach the circle shortly, which will get us, of course, our next circle. Teams will have to obviously react to that. You can see up in the north, Athletico taking on TABOO Esports Club at the moment. KANGA Esports spread out around Milta Power. You've got Immunity in Milta Power, Ground Zero, Exile, Raging Knights, all in Milta Power. Chiefs still in that Wizard Tower, dead center of the circle, but will the next circle be kind for them? We're about to find out, and it is. It does go a bit to the northeast. So for the teams in Milta Power and around that region, they're fine. It's those teams such as ARCANE, KARNAGE, PATHOGENs, Resolves, they'll all have to move.
I can't believe this new circle as well. I was expecting finally Athletico or TABOO to finally have to do a hard shift, a hard move into the circle, but still they're able to play on the outskirts. And Athletico, they're still in. They can still play the banana houses.
Well, TABOO aren't actually in this next circle coming up, and 30 seconds left. They are going to have to push into the circle, and there's no cover for them. And of course, as we can see, Athletico have got full view of them right now. So they're sitting ducks quite literally.
Yep.
They need to start preparing to fight back or use their smokes. You can see Rum Rage using the smoke for cover to see if he can get a way out of there for his team. And Cyclops did get knocked down. I suspect it's not looking good for TABOO Esports Club.
No, they were trying to get one down, but speaking of that, Extreme, he gets one knock, he gets taken out himself, and the rest of the members of ARCANE push on up.
Yeah, Greyhound are going to have to fight this one back. Blackout, though, I think is the last one standing very low behind the wall. And he gets spotted by Cedrix. There must be one more member of Greyhound alive somewhere, because he obviously didn't go straight down. So for ARCANE, though, a really good push. They're still in that next circle, so they don't have to rush too quickly. But KARNAGE Esports is essentially right across the road for them. NYRB, long-range shots onto Headlow, but they both got cover. That's a nade that's chunked him so quickly. Needs to be careful with this long peek, and somehow the pan saves him. He was hiding out the front. He was just way outside for too long. Needed to get back, and finally gets lucky.
Luckily he pulled off, but the grenades, KARNAGE, their onslaught is pretty much relentless.
Decent use of the grenades right now, and TAINTED lands one right onto Happy Navitas. That's one of the targets you want to eliminate. Look at this. Des, Sunny, they're going to start to push up now. They know that ARCANE's Prime Fragger is down right now. They know they're going to want to get him back up, but it's going to be the other way around. Testroy with a knockdown onto one. TAINTED, he has been spotted by Headlow, but he's missing all these shots right now. The whiffs at an awful time. Could have almost confirmed this team wipe. If he had got that knockdown, it would have been a lot easier, but it looks like Happy Navitas is going to get revived throughout this because the pressure from Headlow is just not enough.
ARCANE, they're holding their ground and they're managing to turn the tables in what looked a little bit wrong for them. Headlow, he's taking out some shots, just trying to see if he can confirm the kill. Happy is up. He's taking shots into the smoke.
He has no idea right now. He's pretty much like mind game.
He's in the blind.
Shooting the grass. He has no idea. And he's still missing the shots when they're right in front of him. Gets him to about half health though. Now goes for the spray. Gets a little bit lucky with that. He was just about to get behind cover. Testroy knocked down and he's nowhere near the rest of his team. As you can see though, Happy Navitas is back up. Untainted with the knockdown onto NYRB. Des, Sunny, Headlow, and TAINTED all still standing at the moment. It's 4-on-2. Insight and Happy Navitas. Can they turn this around for ARCANE? There's still 12 teams standing.
It's a tug of war. You think ARCANE has the higher ground or the advantage, and then suddenly, again! It's turning again. So they're just taking turns healing and pushing up.
Resolves?
Another team available to take the kill. Resolves throwing himself into the fray of things.
Pathogen comes to save the day, or at least Resolves does for ARCANE. He's got the double knockdown. Testroy has been finished off eventually, though, but it's only Defs and Sunny still standing for KARNAGE Esports right now. They don't realise that one of the members of Pathogen is still sticking around. No kills yet, but he has got a couple of knockdowns. Hunkrai did die, as you can see in the top right corner there. Interesting development happening at the moment for, obviously, ARCANE. And Team Immunity eliminated out in 12th position.
They finally go down. Critical, he's taking his shots, spotting all the members of ATHLETICO. Who came closer into this next circle? They're still sitting pretty in this wizard tower. No kills to their name yet.
No, but that's one of the, I guess, one of the problems if you're going to be sitting pretty for so long is you're not going to have the opportunity to get kills.
Look at Resolves. He's still in the thick of it. The smokes, they're raining out. Now he wants to push up a little bit. He's still got a pretty decent angle in terms of the coverage. He
has to push up, though. That blue zone's coming because what's that circle right now? Speaking of that circle, there's not a lot of cover. Dead center is that wizard tower for the Chiefs. So this long-range game of sitting in the wizard tower for so long may pay off. But as we can see, KARNAGE Esports and ARCANE so close to each other. He could knock on the wall and he'd be able to hear that knock. They're pretty much very close neighbors, but Resolves is going to have to move up. McClutch got a knockdown onto Untainted. So as these teams are also coming out of here, none of them are safe. KARNAGE aren't safe, ARCANE aren't safe, and Resolves, you're definitely not safe.
He's not safe, but luckily he has a slow edge of the circle to move in, so he's taking his time, snaking in. We turn our attention now to Yasucage. Confirms a kill now.
Onto Junbi from Raging Knights. It hasn't quite spotted endgame though. Yasukage, I think he might have just spotted it, but it was a little bit too far to the left. As Daxon was able to confirm the final kill onto endgame though. That means 11th position for Raging Knights. 7 kills by the way for Vanguard as Results has been spotted by Defs. That means 10th place for Pathogen. And he does die though from ARCANE's perspective. They eventually get the kill onto KARNAGE's Defs with a bit of help from Champs, as DJ Arnie does spot inside as well. That just leaves the snake in the grass, Happy Navitas under the tree, not quite in the shade, but he is under the tree.
I'm so surprised out of all of that, Happy is the one that lived after being down first.
He was the first down, but that's what Happy is capable of.
Just snaking on in. Also Sunny surviving on for KARNAGE.
So of course for the Chiefs, they've picked up their first kill. 7 teams remain, 21 alive. We've got Ground Zero, KANGA Esports, Vanguard, ARCANE, ATHLETICO, and TABOO Esports Club, who are still standing. They were able to at least make something of a bad situation.
They were really, I saw Gadgets, he was trying to get at least one of them down from Athletico and use that as an advantage to push on in, but it looks like the patience paid off. We see only 2 members though, so some of them didn't make it out.
Look at that next circle though, no cover whatsoever. There is nothing in there except maybe some trees.
Yeah, and Chiefs are closest to it. They've got the Wizard Tower. If they are able to play around the Wizard Tower, that'll be their best bet, but you can already see, even if they go out now early, it's going to just leave them out in the open. As you said, no cover.
And right now, Ground Zero have got a potential here of getting back-to-back dinners already. Neverhor has been knocked down by critical motion. Kebab with some long-range shots onto Vanguard. The 3x on the midi, though, is not usually the best idea. As now, Lynxie's also been knocked down, the Kar98 from Edge. So now the Chiefs, towards the end game, getting involved and able to pretty much show themselves. McClutch and Heffer the last standing, but Heffer also finished off by a frag grenade. McClutch has got to somehow, he's got to clutch this situation for Athletico.
Patience paid off for the Chiefs. Ground Zero still have 4 members up, and then we also do see pretty much with KANGA Esports just trying to hold their ground, really.
So Heffer confirmed dead. 1 left standing for Athletico. Otherwise, it could be 7th place for them. KANGA with the 2 kills. Still have 4 standing at the moment. It's KANGA and Ground Zero that are both looking at the position of Vanguard right now. Unfortunately for them, Ludatio has got a knockdown onto Mavgod though. Ground Zero going to get into the thick of the action here. Shots onto Ludatio. Kebab, they want to get the revive because the blue zone's moving, but they also need to deal with Ludatio shooting at them, and with a bit of help from Ace Gun, they get that knockdown. Ceterex and 2deft are also there as well, but all wiped out so quickly. Blink of an eye, 7th place for KANGA Esports.
Ground Zero, they saw that opportunity and they took it. They didn't hesitate at all. Now their next opponent will be Vanguard. Yeah,
Vanguard pushing up. Yasukage, DJani, Dax and Sharky's going to run, or at least shoot right up to the running Yasukage. 2 more to deal with. They're both going to have to move. Ground Zero playing this so well right now, but Sharky's peak wasn't the best. He was on the wrong side of the crate. Daxon, unfortunately, was able to get one up to Sharky. Back and forth trades right now, but it's not going to go the way of Vanguard. It goes the way of Ground Zero. They've got 3 down, though, and Ace Gun's going to have to leave all 3. He cannot get any of them up.
Bit of a sloppy fight, you can see, and they were all under that time pressure from the circle, and that's why they just really wanted to just end it and go in. Ground Zero, really, Ace Gun, he's just trying to stay in there for the thick of it, but it's just so difficult to see Xenox right now. Ace Gun, he just gets...
wow.
He falls off, takes the fall damage.
That's from a motorbike.
Your respects.
Yeah, press F in chat for that. 3 teams remain, 6 alive. Okay. Edge is about to come around the corner. McClutch is peeking this beautifully, though, but he changes the angle. Champs comes from below, and it's going to be 1 from the top, 1 from below. You can't deal with them both. We're down to the final 2 teams. It's Chiefs, it's TABOO Esports Club. The Chiefs have bounced back here. 5 kills. That Wizard Tower paying off, Andy.
That Wizard Tower has paid off dividends. I was so excited to say it. Just like jumped the gun right there. TABOO, 2 members, so we've pretty much got 3 on 2. Let's see how they play it now. The cover is pretty much minimal, you can see, in terms of the circle now. But TABOO first to rotate in.
Edge has spotted Rum Rage behind the tree. Have got the 3 on 2 advantage, of course. And Rum Rage needs to heal up, and if he sits behind that tree, Grenade could... Never mind. Just a little bit too far and a little bit to the left here. Edge has only got 14 shots in the Kar98, but that should be all he is required of here.
Gadgets is peeking. Spots, Edge. But Critical, in the meantime, he's down Rum Rage. Now it's all up to Gadgets.
That's going to leave Gadgets left. Critical, they've spotted him. He's so low. He's only got 1 first aid kit as well. He does have the circle. That's his only saving grace, but unfortunately he's got 3 to deal with. We have seen 1v3s in the past, but it's not something that's too common in Gadgets. I don't know what that was, but it's not the best. Chiefs take out game 2. Talk about bouncing back, Vandy.
They'd be happy with that one. You can see Critical turning to the camera like, look, we finally got one, boys. So you got Chiefs, and then followed by TABOO, Athletico, Ground Zero, and ARCANE for your top 5.
And we are going to throw it back over to Ben and our